When I come back from that break, my guest, what's no from my two brothers in the industry, Kelvin Kenneth, CEO Event Guide Africa. Akwaba.
Yeah.
Hey. Then the kiss I'll be back.
No. Hey. Oh, the kiss was saying. Until I was a kiss now, some dick and show. Looking beautiful.
My rich man.
Well, of course, by God's grace.
He really is come. Sikazi, oh yeah, the papa, Sikay Moja, Sikay Moja. Bible puts the money answer all things. Sikay here, papa, Momo Aqua Bibu. Ena Edem Mensah Tsotorme. Edem, Aquaba. You share ya chere. Bibi aboko. Yedanya miasi. Banka kanka
Kakrabo.
Kakrabu.
Experience in Korea.
Nice one. Nice one.
Hey,
and some little we industry mo. You have been Edem Richardson and Mobo Adzokrodo. They will answer you but touch on briefly. Makaya Edem say ish. Ish Nedam Keno, minim se no suru. Another ABA or should on us over man electo. Sabedu. But then, of course, we are not condemning anybody. So what? There is a tussle between, I wouldn't even say a tussle. No, there's not a tussle. Bishop Ajanasari and only preach. And ni preaching no mono. Okweko no gopo do. Also attack be a onion no gopo. No way no say where can I think demonic headquarters are. Oye no gopo. Na then no gopo for winning one John. Na what to reply was a man. Na reply no munna what share day. I saw food be net on day no gopo ye a shrine head a demonic headquarters no. One I saw Phoebe. The one I saw Phoebe no that statement was a bit ambiguous. So pedo share day I saw for no share Bishop Ajanasari na sino. So generally, I saw Funumbia on a day, it was a bit ambiguous. But then we tried I saw Fubi, another one when I saw Funibi. Was all a woman no go ho. Wabana wabeji, powers ho, no what I miracles, which are predain. There has been conversations. After the conversations, no, in a communique, Ofi, Oye Bishop Ajanasari, Nechapro obey. People were expecting that it would be an apology. But then, why didn't you chimbi na year ya hunini na day Nanko for so ya huninya ono intrede apologize. Nanya da menshase.
On free.
Briefly. You must made them I don't want someone on Peroka but let me be so briefly. In as much as Nyamine Juma, when you are speaking in Christ. But then when it comes to some utterances, do you think, irrespective of the fact that we may have some spiritual backing, we should desist from some utterances, especially in the church?
Every society is governed by a certain kind of convention, your norms, values. And see, if you are in a society, you need to be very sensitive to, like, the feelings of the people, and that should guide you, how you communicate. That is why, I mean, if you are an MC, you are going to MC an event, you know where it is, and the kind of jokes you try to come out with. Well, yeah, you may destroy the event. So those of us who have power of platforms, we should be very circumspect when we are speaking, regardless of that kind of influence we think we wield. Because when we offend people, because a feeling, no, at times it's difficult for you to correct it. It's like giving somebody a broken heart. Even when the person accepts you back, it's her behavior towards you or his behavior towards you changes. When the feeling is hurt, it is the reason and you may be a young friend, no, also we are careful. Your religion. That's why that was the reason I said age.
It's like an age.
And when you belong to a certain religion, and you are speaking about another religion, you need to be careful and get it right. Because when you misfire, when you speak against Christianity and you misfire, Christians will not be happy. When you are from a Christendom and you speak against Islamic religion and you misfire, they will not be happy with you. So we should all try to be accommodative of everyone and be very sympathetic towards feeling. So you don't think that you are lording your religion over somebody, because it came up that in Tsotorme Mensah, and everything is contained in his video. If you check the demeanor with which he made the first utterance now, and the demeanor with which he made the second utterance now, clearly you could see that he realized he could have said it in a better way. And that alone is, an admission of the fact that maybe the kind of one can ye, and I say, Nanu nkosi ye. Enti meno the American say, and yes, one is near the maye. If you're a man of God, if you're a journalist, you are whatever, if you get a platform, you need to be very measured in how you use the platform. I don't want to even look at the issues, because clearly the response nearby in the crowd say, given the opportunity, he will not say it as he said it. So for me, I don't see why I have to go into the issue. The second response, and ama media futu say, it means that senka when your chance na konka de be kind and on kind of kind. So we should be measured when we have a certain power and we are communicating, because effective communication and you don't think you have authority to say anything, so you are saying anything. The time of the moment is important, the environment is important. The intention behind the message is important. That is why if you look at the communication cycle, there is like a source where is coming. There is a receiver, and through a medium. And when you check, there is feedback. But surrounding that point from the source through the medium to the receiver, there is what we call the noise around.
Noise, yeah.
And the noise can disrupt the message. So before it can even get to the receiver, a lot of disruption will come, and it will bring a certain feedback.
But this particular utterances from Bishop Ajinasari, were there noise around between the person who said the message as it carrying to the receiver? It was a direct thing he said.
No, the noise is, you see, when you are communicating and the communication is not clear, when we say noise, is anything which can disrupt the intention of the message. So, idea bema nipano enya message and how you want the person to get the message is annoying, because a blocking or a confusing from getting the intention of the message, and it means that communication wasn't clear.
It wasn't clear.
That is why the feedback, the message, he was trying to clear it, that it was a certain example to lift the faith of my church members, that, when you put your trust in God, He can save you from some situation. So this is the message he wanted the church to get, or his congregants to get. But because of how it came out, the intention didn't get to most people. So it's important when we want to communicate things, we should be able to, especially if it's there will be a tabletop. If it's impromptu, you should still be able to sieve it through, and know how, because impact is important. I did be a few and no banner. How it is impacting the next person is very, very important. So we shouldn't downplay impact of what we say, else it can get us into trouble.
Kelvin, with what Edem said, right? I'm not, to them, we are not judging anybody. No, we ain't judge Obi our harmony. It's just more coordination, back and forth, no, how it could have been done. I've paid attention. Another maybe I've been able to observe this because I'm a communications person. But then most of the time, now I'm speaking generally, not just the church, though the conversation is about the issue here. Generally, obi pedo kansam, oba kansam or pedo kan. Okay, we are based on reaction. Man, which sometimes a negative reaction because ata samana okay na say. And my reaction also that is not what I meant. Meanwhile, no, as someone can, it means exactly how you understood it to mean. Would you say that Edem Tsotorme, this is what I wanted it to mean, but then because of the backlash that is coming, so let me try and polish it and give it a different meaning altogether? Would you say it is that?
Yes, I mean, when it comes to communications, if you so one say or communication in how you want it to direct to the final consumer now, that is where at that moment so maybe a second party or maybe a third party. The third party can be outside your box. Because the second party is your final consumer. The third party might be somebody at home, and also will be on phone, and I say it can be the public. So based on that reaction, no, and no na what drink kohonuma. I remember also who say okay, communication in there assume na wakano is totally wrong. And no na also a reverse, and I say remember to go back amakutie what exactly you meant. Nti how na kabasa ka wokano no so back na okotie na it was not directly the way it is now. That's the problem. Okay, so you saw the pastor kan Ajanasari kan for instance, you see, because our religion we don't really understand it well, apart from because of say a Christianity, a respected Christianity, and then the Muslim aspect. When it comes to the traditional way, you want to say it's more like it's more like a devil, yintino. Obi can't about anything about traditional worshiper or no feel say and no bonsam de buy. You see, but if we really understood the real worship of traditional Nanka, people are not going to condemn that kind of worship. They said the last week near Tiano about traditional priest abosom you can make an example. Last week was near Kabi to say.
Nay, about a Empress Lupita na Nukundom Papa, a one Papa Abaza.
And so between
the fetish
and then traditional person, being a traditional. So, when it's a traditional, as in Ghana, traditional way, no, is go for. It's not abosom sam. It's the devil. Okay. Devil is not abosom sam.
Okay.
Abosom ne wo honum no. Where we also worship
a medium God, through which we worship God. Okay.
Through that.
Okay.
You understand me? We worship God through that. But you can't worship Satan to reach to God.
Okay.
That's a two different thing. So Ajinasari say demons. I don't can say bonsam da ankasa. Demonic. So you can't worship God through the demonic to God. Demonic is bonsam da ankasa. You understand me? And no ama you for no no patch say on na dream no. Mimi to me, sana be dem hu no. Ha say na adwemu no. O believe say the lesser God na nanka you honum na ka osaka otimi rephrasing kakra because the people no as I say no they are lesser gods or more worship. Yes be omunya kwa na worship it's their traditional way of worshiping God. And no nso e wo ba bia e normal. Akra wo ba akra ye wo ukọ you know the traditional council more how to worship God through our traditional ukọ asante memoir during akwasidani during obohu abosom fofra ndi abosom asante say yeah ukọ voter you also obia wo gods are we so they will feel offended. So when attack as a second or third party in the bar, then you just realize that omunim what omunim dia omusope and a bibia so rules and regulations so eka ho nti say wo kan wan kan yi a eno na attack me ba nti ka say demon they are not demonics. They are traditionalists. Nti eno no na bash ne beba no what you say aha because demonic there they say bonsam na nkasa but they are not Satan omunye bonsam they are traditionalists into no kasa na emema bash na ba into the bash ne ba emema wako back so adnasari on the side no timi hu say oba na obeka say okay I'm sorry I'm here straighter ebema we deviate from the message na kasa na opese work so you have to rephrase it well.
Okay.
Because also power or the impact on the people. And so the trust them go for the man no. So better say you didn't say what you're saying there and no no. So you have to rephrase it well and then try to make sure say and go for say in a different way. Emma wants some Emma say oh okay I'm sorry. And so Rebecca say you didn't even prepare for the same one. And that's you don't even know.
Speculations now.
With the level no. So you have to rephrase it well. But for me, I think that also to me I apologize proper.
Okay. Although or apologize proper. Answer now we'll move on to other topics here but discuss with you and I think I'll take advantage of this. Na maka actually dem subano organa from won wonjai. Obi pedo shawa horoba. Na ode we put say nyima horoba. Enyima horoba. Na we put in a way be we are not the laughing emoji not that can for it to look like oya green olidi onya green olidi. I will take the emoji off and I will give you a reply that is deserving. When I give you that reply, a emoji no for to reply in each na wa sumpo ne fa na agore dem subanu wonjai the mazino cry. Yeah, if you hold monoma now we're going into the church fully. Emoji or advocates there or investors when you invest in the gospel industry. Na sabi I'm Robert Simple or ya no we hear investment. This is also coming from somebody who has said the perform watch up redema on Jiska. Inti sami investor, let me be invest to woman. I would want my returns. Now I will baby a perform Jiska. Ne baby a performer and Jiska no. How do I come in as an investor?
Wait, go
first.
Even the gospel you are changing war. But I mean can in the mere way because Edem do know about in a technical way. I mean can normal.
Fast.
So a story now can say emoji or okay, so I wanted to ask to say so maybe a corporate entity. Na me end of year. Na because you not sorry them one. Na me friend na.
Them question on them. Which na no what you want.
Na me friend na. Inte no.
So all kind of cancel was sorry. Also we NGO.
Me ba.
Them not on your church.
That be me ba.
But you're doing it in a church.
Me yan what church? Hosted by so. In the name of this church. Oh, that be set here. I need you. Meba.
Church never friend now. NGO never friend.
Remember, sorry, na friend no. What are you talking about? Me end of year. End of year because me can't show say me end of year.
E would do home no me ya na hu
do ye. Me share under press before be. Na press before na frɛ. Say be perform me.
So munye sir.
I didn't know munye. Because I'm the one paying tax. And I'm here see you and I'm say oh, this year the person me end of year.
As part of
business. The person as one no can ye no. and no person based on that into na me so me dey kasa because so kasa say some bad church na say on charge for a year and na say you're just trying to open gateway for certain ways of inviting you to come and play shows for free. But me, the church, is business. See, let's put everything aside. Church, and you na a year for sacrifice, and I say a year for Sebia and Wedia is for only the glory of God. No, they are also doing business. So I know, say yes. When so if for the friend, a royal house of friends say, oh yeah, I know them. Say, oh, because of one or But me, I think say, you should put on kind of said that every gospel, if I say, a musician will have a way of charging. What you say? Now because churches, churches cry show some more, cry sing. So if every week we have 3 or 4 churches. No one just then what's the because investors say okay, church no more. So into one bar, then what's the point? What I say? So fast forward, when it comes to investors into the gospel, they do. Just that one way or the other, no, how they do their things, and how they promote their stuff. You know, sometimes me Ghanaian gospel artists, they feel comfortable in their own circle. What I say? They don't push harder. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them. Some of them don't push harder because when you hit na you born or church na you win and no. And the investor biano is looking for numbers, looking for streams, looking for so many things. Bema on returns. Until compared to the secular artists, the way they do the things, apart from say radio for body, or doing international collaborations. I don't want to compare our gospel to Nigerians or any other, but for us to get that numbers, you need to do what? More first collaborations. And then that is where the money comes in. Apart from your videos, recording, the most important thing is the features. Which if you are able to feature international arts, your songs will be heard. Whether say it will Chio or any language. So far as you have forgotten an international art on it, it makes it possible for you to reach out there. And also, if somebody is coming in to investor, it makes it easy because in returns, Ubenya take a back. You can do world tour. It's not going to be only Ghanaians per hour you're going to play with. You're going to play to that international level. Your song is going to be maximum. What I say? So if me, I'm an investor, returns are maybe as a businessman. What I say? Yes. You see, and the way I'm not draw a line between say young gospel artists, this is how we do our things and secular artists, and this is how they do their things. No. If you look at international, how artist is an artist. It doesn't matter. If you go to the other world, Franklin and those things, those people, the way if on 50 cents more, Jay-Z more promote more, that's the same way. That's the same way. They make sure they put in money, they put in quality videos, they make sure say they do world tour, doing featurings, going here and there, just making sure they cut across. And then sometimes even the kind of songs they do on the album, they make sure say it fits every category. What I say? It's a stage where no benya or boss no agenesika. That's how every investor is looking out for.
That's how every investor is looking out for. Edem, of course, so gospel artist kobo a show watch opera, another kobo program or kobo perform watch opera. Officially no, be on charge. But all your dana la we are envelope day. What's a bummer? You wanting me to come in as an investor to invest in the gospel industry. Now the musuban wabe a thing in the gospel industry. Oh, you software is a millionaire friend, muntum na men charge and muntum na men charge. Meanwhile, lekwa obamuska. So far as the money is unofficial, it means the investor is not going to get any percentage from that money. Wouldn't you say that the many na kahu and gospel industry wouldn't solid investors women?
I mean, I think earlier I said something about culture I mean, society. And if you are an investor, not all coming into a certain space, you need to understand how the space runs before you put your money in. So, for an investor to say, I want to invest in the gospel industry, the investor needs to understand that before I put the money in, this is how I'll get my ROI, my return on investment. This is how I will not get. So based on that, I will inform you to do that. Always, we've been talking about gospel musicians getting investors. At times, the money they get, not even charging, is bigger than what they would have even charged. And some of them create a relationship, and through that, they get a lot of support from some of the pastors.
Yeah.
You understand? Support for their project programs, among others. So, it's going to be a return favor. Because of that, and a situation where we are asking for investment, I would appeal to the gospel musicians from staying away from this cliche. I don't charge. Keep it to yourself.
Okay.
You want your sector to look attractive. You are calling on investors. It's your personal decision. It is not written anywhere that I don't charge or charge. That is, some personal decisions must be kept to ourselves, especially when we want to be competitive. You understand? Don't be so pushed to the extent that you may talk about some of these things. Maybe at the end of the day, it may end up not create a good image for that industry. It may look that there's no money in. Some of them should also be able to tell, their success story as to what they have gotten from the church and the kind of support, because that happening make people feel that, okay, then it means the church has been helpful. But if you think the church is not helpful, why should you continue giving your services free if you are not getting anything from the church?
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Because definitely the church is also making some money from the activities. So if you feel you get support, that is where, because whatever performance you are doing, you know that in return there will be something to support your craft. So they need to be very circumspect the way they put the thing out. It makes them and the church look like helpless. You understand? Don't let the picture be like you are not getting anything from the church, but the church is getting something from you. What I say? Because you say, Bibi Ankoka Papa, why are you not charging the church? You know, say one bob unya more.
Whilst the church is actually your biggest market.
So, they need to be truthful. If you want to talk about it, say like, oh, me they in charge you, but pastors need to me bless me, say, oh, me album launch, to me supporting, say me the. So let people see, and that is some of the things it will inform the investors that okay, it means that even though I may not charge, I may get the support from the church. You are giving the person hope. You understand? But don't let it look one way, that I don't charge. It's like nothing is coming. So if you don't want to move away from that conversation that I don't charge, let the other side of the conversation come. For people to see what you are getting from you will not charge.
From the church, the reason why you are not charging.
Yes, let that side come. Because I'm not sure.
Because if you are not charging, but then a better perform we are. So the money would be higher than if you were charging.
Yeah.
Two, Serbia event be, let's say here auditorium na would give it to you for free. Instruments na zing na wo hormone, you would use all of them for free. It's not
some of them.
Not one wa be butter trade.
Butter. Into what charge?
Don't represent one side of the issue. And I know some definitely there are some too who may even tell you I will not charge, but give me this amount to be given to my instrumentalists. So it's like the money is going to the instrumentalist. But only the on that is how it looks. You understand?
Minim artista.
I mean, it comes in so many forms.
Minim artista wako perform what chapel, right? Wako perform what chapel. Now let's look at it from the pastor's point of view too. In our country, in our Christianity religion, there are asofubi or hormonoma wajidi still na wajidi the man no de bia masa the masam na me manta seda because I was sofuno ekoneke preacher ejiska honorarium yes you take it what can then a preach we are edge offering tithes affordable edge the minimum nyina most of the time 98% of the time on an editorial rent editorial womba editorial won treshim na nyina. But then you are also of the belief that nyame de makwa nti yemfa nchakwa eyenyum tunyi it is God's gift into performer onyide mutua wokaw. I know pastors are wo damn mentality no. And Southern America earlier no minimum artista or kakobo show or charge you onyedo obaka there give me this and I'll give a monfama baby this person charged you know sika was a man. It was not even up to it was just about 10% of what he had actually charged.
I didn't.
Because onyame de chakwa nto odo no so or de chakwa. Nti Kevin, don't you think that to them earlier when we're talking about Oye Bishop Agyinasare nation, you made a statement that the church, a lot of the churches are running as businesses. And to say if you are running as business and you want to engage my services as a gospel artist, but then you are not willing to pay, are you not rather taking advantage of me or exploiting me?
Because traditionally, how our artists, any church, any pastors, are uniting. Almost normal. Every pastor Bia feels like we came from the church and our service now we are not so Onyankopon yi. It is a charge pena ko say e wiase. Wo ya ma wiase for. What I say? Sana ama pastors ni bi e dey to most of the gospel artists no etrim. Nti no say anytime you charge ni bia no o feel say service now wo dey would be tongue no sorry them now will charge no. Now no, it's not to the glory of God again. When you charge pay, that means say now a new can water, but a for a radi. It is now omodia to most of the gospel, but they forget say it's a business. I don't know no should the edition. And no na ama most of the gospel artists no and then the relationship between some of the pastors and nowadays, some of the gospel artists who can say, okay, me here was our church way. Now, ya bush over Derby, we church with the bingo. And I said, oh, with this pastor the Derby, because the beer pastor with the Nabachumi. The pastors knows so when they say a business for the gospel artists. I mean, that is my issue here.
Your issue.
What I say? Because they have to see it as almost a business. Glory of God need there. So far as I say, be in the voice, they are tuning yes. But so we invite no, and also friend no, I be man for because even the name alone, I be man for kwapo abba with your service. Abba to for and even it's not just about your church alone. Be man external people because don't forget say it's not about if it's Christians and quantity emoji. Abosomfo kwa so tie to even motivate themselves. There are some songs are gospel artists it doesn't matter where baby say we are Christian no, we are Muslim or we are there are some songs are if it's coming from gospel artists see yaresa a bit massa or yare streets. What I say? And you shouldn't forget that.
We shouldn't forget that. Edem, briefly, as I will move to the next conversation, no, maybe so. This one, like briefly, very, very briefly. Do you think the gospel industry needs investment?
Oh, the gospel music industry needs investment because it's one of the industries that are very capital intensive. If you look at most of their productions in normally and live. So, I mean, when like a secular artist will go, a producer will be there, will just do the song for you. I mean, the gospel, you have to pay the producer, you pay the studio. They will call BVs to come and back you, you pay them. They will call maybe someone to come and play guitar, someone to come and play organ, horns, or maybe trumpet, and certain things. It makes just one producing just a song crowd very, very expensive for them. And when you are done, when it comes to promotion, it also costs a lot. And one other factor cost is upon a music video. Very, very expensive. I mean, recently we shot a music video and anytime we use
video
about...
no cost sign.
Oh, I mean, it's
not the exact figure.
Yeah, and it's necessary for us to put the
before. That's why I'm asking.
Because some of the costs we decided not to even put it together because
the reason why that I'm asking is that a gospel artist would shoot a video, it'd be at 10,000, 12,000, 15,000. A video with the kind of videos we're shooting then. That video is not up to standard. But to that gospel artist, that is the higher standard.
Oh yeah, Obiara is strange. The video, we used about 2 weeks to shoot the video. And anytime we are going to set, we have close to like 15, 20 people. And you have to give people transportation.
Transport,
a buffet.
Accommodate
you know how Empress does her things.
Costuming.
A buffet. They will bring buffet, food, rice. It not be easy. Transportation for people, and there were some of the aspects of it. We had to even go and sleep in like a top-class hotel with a crew. Cameraman in the crew, artist in the crew, up to Lancaster.
Wow.
You understand? Because we had to shoot at 4 a.m. when nobody...
Yes,
so convey them. And yet it's not from how much the director charges. This is extra expenses for the artists. Movement, transportation, cars. And the day we finished, where we went to eat, about like 15, 20 people, and the cost of food at that place, everybody, including the camera crew near there. I mean, so a lot goes into gospel music. And you see the music video in 3 minutes. The level of money which has been invested. So clearly, they are a group of people who need that investment, and it comes in various forms. It's not always that you have to say, oh, train for a record label, because what are the record label going to do? They are going to give you investment. Some of the record label even will leverage on you, the artist, your team. But there are some also who have their setup and will use the setup for you. So when you get investment from anywhere, try and get the right team so that it will be like a label, because the label will work with a model. So if you have people who can work with that model or develop that model for you, it's good to go with them. So they should not just sit and wait for the labels, but they should look at where the monies will come. And see where we have gotten to with our music. Some artists have gotten to a stage, they don't necessarily need even record labels. They need distribution labels. And the distribution labels will take your music far, because the distribution labels are going to make their money from how far they are able to distribute your music for returns. That is why you see Black Sherif and Stonebwoy just released his album, and look at how the album is doing. Because a distribution label has bought that part of the work and say a record label, a corporate distribution label. So that part of the responsibility is that made me spreading so that I get my money. Black Sherif is on Empire, which is a distribution label. They gave him money, and their work is and
they are doing amazing.
They make sure they push the song everywhere. So you can get money from somewhere to push your craft and try to get a distribution label which can help lift. That's where we talk about crossing over, where we want to see our music cross over. I mean, CCI, it's pretty clear that distribution labels can get us. And I'm very happy of the news I'm hearing behind the scenes, where most of the distribution labels are on our artists, are sending them proposals and other things. And even though some of the deals are breaking camps, some of the artists are having problems with their immediate camps, to some extent, it means distributors have seen something right with our music industry. They've seen a potential and they want to tap. So, I mean, let us look at, some of these things. Gospel need investment. I mean, the team should also look aside, because there are certain things which can bring you the money, like endorsement deals, other influencer deals, which can bring you the money, a certain barter deals, which can bring you the money, where you can lift your craft to a certain stage where a distribution label can come for you and take you to the world.
Kevin, my share Black Sheriff, Mr. Black Sheriff, Stonebwoy.
Yeah.
Stonebwoy will release in a Fifth Dimension album, no? Bosumini. Do you think that it is getting the attention that it needs?
Because even 2 weeks ago, I see the buzz. Because I think because of that moment, there was more radio tour and then all that on it, people were following. But because of we movie from Ghana and then started doing the Africa, I was at Africa one and then to the world, I say Ghana there. If it's in our space, it's a different conversation. Once there is a little attention out of we have a different conversation. So I think it's doing well. As soon as we move to the African side, and to Tanzania and then Nigeria and other things, you see how the streaming will going to also push, because that's the way of people streaming. Because if you don't talk about it, people don't stream. Whilst you are just talking about it, then the streaming also goes high. And then Stonebwoy literally knows that once I'm done with Ghana, once Ghana there, but it's really doing well. Just that because the media is not talking about it now, no, we are not seeing it.
Okay.
What I say? But it's really doing well because I check on Spotify, I've checked on AudioMark.
The numbers keep going.
Yes, and then it's always on the from third, fourth, fifth, the chart within the week. Our topic charts, I've checked, and then it's really amazing. So as soon as we move it to Tanzania or Nigeria or South Africa or any part of the apart from Ghana, now you see it will shoot, because now almost more for them to listen to it more. And now you see these people, if you don't move to them, it is hardly for them to stream it like stream. And this Ghana streaming keke. If you go to Nigeria, they place their own first. So until the video they remind one we are Stonebwoy, unless there are some few fans are almost feeling or not tapping into their space. But so how now we interviews near now, you see the streams will go high, because he's going to have more interactions with them, and then how like only go at the same time, and then all that. So to me, it's doing well. It's still doing amazing, and then it's going to even go far because of that. And then after that, obe water. How couple a bear?
No, shooting stroke.
Yeah, and no couple a bear deadly no. Into so also not calculate it. So now no you see the first quarter to promote from Ghana.
Okay.
When you have streams,
Okay.
The second quarter is Africa. By June, July, no, was say the whole Africa.
So where do baby?
Now, or the last quarter, no, I world tour. And by the time I hear the baby, by the time I hear the Bissino, now it's all over the world. Or no person or topic on by the first 5 or first 10 days of social to the end of the year. That's how it is.
Beautiful strategy.
Yes.
Very beautiful strategy. Edem.
I think I would like to say big ups to Stoneboy and you know say Ejuma way, you know, or starting, you know, he started it with a pre-album release activation, and he was in UK, US, other parts of the world, meeting like industry people who have influence. We saw the pre-album listening sessions or abroad, even before he came to Ghana. And when Stoneboy came to Ghana, he did a private listening for some section of the industry players, and did another one for his fans at Polo Beach, which was very huge. It tells you that there was a certain intention to ensure the song gets the needed attention. After he did everything, I had a chat with him on WhatsApp about, the kind of work which has gone in. And he told me that it's not been easy pulling the resources, but it's something he really wanted it to happen, that the song will break various dimensions and get to everywhere of the world. And this is his agenda. And clearly, that agenda is working for him. And Oshe, within like a month after the release, the various songs on the album, they are doing well. A song like Forget, a month after the release, has peaked in about 52 countries, which is good for him on Apple Music top songs. And Oshe Apoteki, one of the songs, Apoteki and Pucheche, that song also peaking in about 48 countries on Apple Music. Secret Lover peaking in about 47 countries. Ranam peaking in 47 countries. In Control peaking in about 45 countries. African System, 37 countries. APK, My Sound, 36 countries, non-stop. So like, clearly you could, from the chart, you can see that there is something happening to the album, which is good news. So if you move away from just the single songs and you look at the whole album, it's almost becoming the fastest album to hit about hit number one on iTunes in less than 2 hours when it was released in Ghana. And number one on Afro Sound charts. The album over 80 million streams across DSPs, periodic distribution platforms, and the album peaking in about 113 countries. It shows that whatever plan he had to have that pre-activation,
it has
and
impacted.
Post-activation, the impact has been felt. So I will urge all of us, and whoever is in a position to support the album get to that level, push it to get there. And because you see, Nipo Fudria Pano and the piano. Stoneboy is not just believing in his brand that I'm Stoneboy, so or the number to social media and our no. You have seen him put in resources.
He's been on the ground.
Yes.
Doing everything he's supposed to do.
Such person say also Uyebia Buana and yeah, because on one casano bonike shedada into Suanoa depa. So he should continue doing the good work. Big ups to the Beam camp. This album, you could clearly see that the Beam fans crash that you're very intentional about the album, almost holding in high esteem. So there are a lot of positives we can learn from it. And I think it's doing well.
Final submission.
Okay. So with my final submission, I would like to congratulate TUGA, Tour Operators Union of Ghana, TUGA, and President Miss Alisa Asamoah for the amazing work. Over the weekend, they won an award for being the best association in tourism in the country.
Beautiful.
And recently, just last week, they were in South Africa at this year's Indaba, where they looked at various ways to improve tourism. And they have been doing something good to the extent that NANTA, which is also another tourism organization in Nigeria for Nigerian tour operators, are learning from them and partnering them on a lot of, because they were doing certain things that they think that they can learn from. You know, Tuga is doing what they call the farm visits, where farm tours, where they visit tourist sites, see some of the problems and report it to